What is going on, YouTube people? New York Cards and Comics here. Today we are going to talk about Pikachu and Charizard investing. That's right. I said the I word. I said the invest word. Yes, I called it a Charizard. Yes, I know it's Charizard. I do it because I know it triggers you. So, as many viewers of the channel know, I have dabbled in sealed Pokemon for a hot minute. Actually, you can look here on Market Movers. The first boxes that I bought, and I thought this was a fitting time to do this, was basically 2 years ago to the day almost. The first boxes that I purchased were Black Friday 2022. One of my local LGSs up in Cleveland got lots of games, had a Black Friday sale on for Lost Origins boxes for $85 a pop. It was a newer set at the time. It was, people were whatever on it, or I think it just got reprinted, actually. I think it had just got reprinted. He posted on Facebook, running the sale. I said, it was about 45 minutes away. I was like, I got nothing else going on. I'll go up there and grab a few boxes. And then I ordered 2 boxes of Chilling Reign off, I think Dave and Adams. They had a sale for $105. And I set them on the shelf behind me. And we were off and running from there. From that point forward, I tried to get a case of every new release going forward. You can see a month later, I bought a case of Silver Tempest. A little bit after that, I ended up picking up a case of Brilliant Stars on Pokemon Center because they were actually selling on Pokemon Center for less than what they were going for in the real world. And then since the Scarlet and Violet era has started, I have been buying cases of pretty much every product that released. Some of the stuff I have loose boxes on. It just kind of depends. There was a few sets that I missed cases of. But I have some arrangements with some folks locally to pick stuff up with some of my local LGSs. So I could pay cash, get a little bit better price on it. This, that, the other thing. So that's what I've been doing. For the last 2 years, I buy anywhere from 4 to 6 boxes of each release. Some of the specialty sets, I dabble in picking up some things here and there as well, just depending on what it is. Couple of reasons why I did this. Maybe I was influenced by Rudy a little bit. And I should note, please, dear Lord, take none of this as actual advice. Yeah, there's a bunch of green on that screen up there, but it's meaningless until I actually sell anything. It's fake numbers until I hand someone a box of cards and they hand me cash back. It goes for singles too. But anyways, back on topic. I was probably influenced a little bit by Rudy from Alpha Investments. Wouldn't have been the first time that he got me. And it just seemed like what I was seeing with my own 2 eyes, plus what I was hearing online through YouTube and content, etc., the amount of folks interacting with Pokemon, the wider audience interacting with Pokemon, the excitement around it, the collector base around it, plus, there's flippers. It's a much larger audience for Pokemon stuff. I said, all right, I can afford a few $100 every couple of months to buy some boxes and stick them on a shelf. It's not the end of the world to me. If it goes to 0, I am okay with that. So I've been doing that for 2 years since. We're at the point now where it feels like, and a lot of this has had to do with Surging Sparks, the newest set that came out, hyped to the moon. There was internet rumors about, it's short printed. We didn't get as much allocation. Oh my goodness. That played into the FOMO. And this set went absolutely nutty. The set came out a month ago. Not even a month ago. Early November was the official release. Typically boxes go for around $100 for the first few months. And then the market will do whatever the market does, depending on how popular the set is. These instantly went to $200 a box. I have 8 boxes of this with a cost basis of $105 per box averaged out. And they are currently doing $200 a box. I am up 89% in 20 days on my Surging Sparks purchases on paper. Prismatic Evolutions, the next set to come out. People already lost their mind for that. Stuff's reselling for insane prices online. The next set after that, Team Rocket, people are already freaking out about that. and blind pre-ordering things. I don't even know what the set is. There's blind pre-ordering it. Haven't seen a single card from it. And now the amount of people I am hearing talking about, oh yeah, yep, I'm doing that too. I'm stashing booster boxes, doing the same thing. Yeah, man, to the moon. I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing. Sets are going to come out. I'm going to keep buying it. I have a longer time horizon on this. I am not purchasing to quick flip. Like I can flip the Surging Sparks right now and double my money. And maybe that's the smart thing to do, but it is not the plan. But I do have some concerns. I am worried a little bit. The tricky part about, sealed box investing, besides storage, pain in the butt, by the way, is you don't really know how much is out there. And in TCG/Pokemon specifically, I do legitimately have concerns about people like whales. And I'm not even talking like Rudy Alpha Investments. I'm talking bigger than that. Like whales hoarding just pallets and cases and warehouses, literal warehouses full of this stuff. Some of the stories I've heard, some things that I've seen, it would boggle your mind the amount of product that some people are probably sitting on. Even the distributors sit on product and play games with the prices, but I'm not even talking about that. And it causes artificial scarcity in the short term. And then, the box prices go up, and then, they may reprint. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Eventually, they don't print them anymore. And then that's when things really kind of start ticking up. Takes a while to get to that point. But the unknown of not knowing how much product people are actually sitting on, and the amount of people just hoarding product now, it at least gives me pause. Like I said, I don't know that I'm going to change behavior at this point, but I'm definitely starting to look at things a little bit more. I don't know if sideways is the right word. I don't even necessarily know how to articulate it, but I have my caution signs are up. It's not a red alert, but I'm probably throwing like a yellow alert up on, what's actually going on here. I'm seeing more and more people at my local shows selling Pokemon and not sports cards. Dealers that were 100% sports are starting to mix in. I'm going to use TCG because it's more than just Pokemon. It's One Piece too. It's Magic. It's non-sports in general. But mixing in TCGs into their sports card case. I heard dealers the other day, I'm getting out of sports completely and switching completely over to Pokemon. I've heard more and more people discussing doing what myself, and I by no means invented this by any means, but what I'm doing and what a billion other people are doing of hoarding sealed boxes. And it just starts to concern me a little bit when everyone is starting to do the thing. And maybe it's just, me being semi-cautious because of what we saw happen with the sports card bubble and all that stuff, and prices are starting to get pretty crazy on some Pokemon stuff. And it's modern too, which is even crazier. It's the modern stuff that's getting pumped. You're not seeing prices go crazy on the older stuff per se, but it's on the modern brand new release sets and stuff from the last few years going crazy. The benefits of buying sealed is, in theory, there's always less of it because a box gets ripped, and then that is one less sealed box that exists in the world. And in today's era, Pokemon is very much doing a shift that we've seen in sports cards. Instead of breaking, they're doing a lot of rip and ships, which is basically someone opens the product for you and sends it to you. You're not buying into a break chasing a character, but you're going on someone's Whatnot stream and buying a rip and ship of a box, X amount of packs, whatever the case might be. And that is big business. And that is eating up a lot of wax. And maybe that has a lot to do with the current cycle that we're in. Those Whatnot machines need fed. That beast needs fed. And the feed is packs and boxes. And booster boxes are the main thing that packs come from. So that machine needs fed. They're getting ripped like crazy for ripping ships and all their little online nonsense. And that's drying up the inventory faster than normal. Could be part of that. It could be people just buying up boxes and hoarding them. And what concerns me on that side of it is if, as product ages, there's less and less of it on the market, the price starts to go up. In Pokemon, typically they hit little plateaus. They'll start out at about 100, and then you'll see that eventually at some point in time they'll creep up to 150, and then they'll sit there for a while and not do nothing for months, sometimes even a year. And then all of a sudden they take like another little mini jump to 175, 200 on your average product. And then they'll sit at like that next pricing plateau for a hot minute, and then they level up again. Is typically what you see. Not always, but that's the general flow of things. Obviously, if it's a hot product, it's going to accelerate way faster. My concern is that you have a whale. And I don't know why they would do this, because it would kind of hurt themselves. So maybe that's a little bit of the built-in protection on it. But let's say I'm mega Pokemon investor and I have pallets of this stuff. And something happens in life, because life happens. And I need to move product. Whatever the case is, I have to move it. Maybe I passed away and my wife's taking it over and she just wants the cash. She doesn't care about Pokemon. Maybe something happened and I just need instant liquidity, and this is the first thing that I have to sell. If I'm sitting on pallets of old product that the market has kind of been dried up on, what happens if all of a sudden I flush the market with a ton of product? If I inject a ton of inventory into the system, for lack of a better term, one person could almost single-handedly crash the market on a particular set if they wanted to. Once you get so far down the road and inventory is less available, not as many people are putting boxes onto the market for whatever reason, one person comes in and dumps their pallets, their warehouse fulls of certain sets, they could legitimately tank the market for possibly years, depending on what it was and how much they're throwing out there. Like, I really legitimately think people are sitting on that much product. The other concern is, as these products age, to this point, there's always been demand for the older products. Does that remain in a sealed format? I think it probably does. I'm a little less concerned about that than I am about the number of people hoarding it. That's, to me, is my biggest concern. That's where kind of my headspace is at right now. I am just starting to see a lot of people hop on the bandwagon, if you will. And just anytime I see that, my alarm bells start going off slightly. Like I said, it's not enough at this point in time to change my behaviors on anything that I'm doing, but I'm side-eyeing things a little bit more. Part of the reason why I buy Pokemon specifically, besides the market realities of it, it's ridiculously popular. I think it has a very long shelf life because of the collector base around it and the amount of people in it and how long it's been around. And I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And also, I have no desire to rip it. I have zero desire to rip Pokemon product. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons why I decided to do it. I tried to do this with Sports Wax and I was weak. I want to rip it. Pokemon, I have zero desire to open the products. I don't know anything about the sealed card or the individual cards, the singles, for the most part. I just make sure I get some exposure to every single set that comes out in booster box form 98% of the time. Sometimes I dabble in some of the other stuff, but the storage on booster boxes is a lot easier. That is another concern. Eventually, at some point in time, and this is the part that no one ever talks about, I am going to have to sell some of this stuff. I don't know when that's going to be. It could be years from now. But at some point in time, I need a buyer for these things. And you start getting to the point where you start accumulating this stuff and storage becomes an issue. Where do you keep it all? What kind of storage unit do you have? Is it secure? Do you trust it? Is it temperature controlled? All that sort of stuff, depending on how much inventory that you end up getting. And then when you go to sell it, this isn't shipping a single. It's not shipping a PSA 10 slab that you throw it in a couple bubble mailers, put some tape around it, throw a label on it, and off she goes. Boxes, you got to bubble wrap them, potentially. You got to put it in a regular box. There's more weight to it, so it's going to cost more to ship it if you can't sell locally. You know, all that kind of crap comes into play. That's another pain point, more annoyance than anything else, that you have to deal with on the sealed side of things that you don't on the single side of things. And I'm sure there's already 15 comments about this. I am at this point, for Pokemon specifically, ultra modern Pokemon, I am not super concerned about CT scanning. Yes, I understand it is a risk. I'm factoring that in a little bit. But at this point in time on ultra modern Pokemon, it doesn't worry me as much as on the vintage stuff. Now, I guess eventually at some point in time, this stuff becomes vintage, but I don't know that I'll own it at that point. The markets, the masses, the people as a whole either don't know about CT scanning or frankly just don't care. They want to live with their head in the sand. And maybe that changes at some point in time. The comment section cares about CT scanning. Content creators care about CT scanning because it makes a sexy thumbnail. But I don't know that the average person cares or knows about it or just gives two shits about it. Clearly they don't. Now, we might all be idiots for that. And when I say we, I'm talking like just the hobbies in general, whether it's sports cards or not. But we clearly know that it's happening, specifically probably on super high-end wax. Yet people still spend hand over fist for it and buy into high-end breaks for crap, even though there's probably an above average chance it's gone through the X-ray machine. So as of right now, CT scanning is a minor concern to me in the grand scheme of things. And maybe that's a mistake. Maybe I'm an idiot for that. I don't know. My main concern right now is how many people are hoarding this stuff, the amounts they're hoarding, and everyone's starting to jump on the bandwagon. That just always makes me a little nervous. So, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Do you do anything like this? Do you hoard any sort of product, whether it's TCG or otherwise? Maybe you do the same thing with sports wax. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm just too tempted to open this stuff. It's not safe in the same room as me. I just look at it. But as I said, curious for your thoughts and comments. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Have a nice Thanksgiving. Peace.